Hi guys, welcome back to Real Therapy Fishing. On this episode we're going to be lugworm digging. So some of the tools that you'll need for lugworm digging is a decent fork that's quite strong. You don't want nothing flimsy, do you?
No, we've broken a few of them before, haven't we?
Yeah, so definitely. You want something strong, nice fork, easy, and something with, I like quite a long handle because you've got decent leverage, good pulling power. A bucket,
Wellington boots as well.
definitely.
Some Wellington boots. Yeah, little builder's bucket. That's essential, or some sort of little tub that isn't going to blow over with the wind.
It's important to carry light. You're going to be walking up and down the beach, so keep it simple. 2 forks and a bucket is all we've got today.
Yeah, not too much gear.
Okay, so this is what you've got to look out for. You've got to find a decent cast and a hole. Okay, so you ideally want to be about half a foot away from your cast there and your hole. So just put your fork in, the whole length of your fork, pry it back and scatter your, there's one.
That's a nice size one, isn't it?
And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Give it a whoosh.
Nice little blow lug, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not very big, but they're big enough for what we need, aren't they?
Good enough for fishing.
Yeah, definitely. Alright guys, so as you can see, there's loads of casts. Loads of little holes, and there's so many around here, and this is what we've sort of come across a lot today. Once we've dug over them, we've found that there's sort of quite a lot of small worms, isn't there?
Yes.
So I'll just show you. I mean, it's hard to differentiate where, you know, these worms would be in the holes, so we've just sort of been digging sort of almost like trenches really. So if I just dig over here, I'll just show you what I mean, and you'll see there's normally quite a few worms in one little area, but yeah, there's sort of like little ones like that. I mean, they're still good for fishing. I mean, we'll put sort of 2 or 3 of them on the hook, you know, and it'll sort of make up the size of one lugworm really. But that's what we've sort of come across really, a lot of them smallish sort of things, almost like when you're digging a small harbour rag really, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're quite small, but again, they're worth sort of digging because you can, you know, sometimes find that sort of size, you know. Pop it there, you know, quite small, but again, that's all bait. There's another one there. I'm just finding a few in this one area, but there's loads, isn't there? There's loads of.
See, I mean, you've only done 2 holes there, look,
yeah,
3 worms.
Right, that's it, and I bet if I dig a bit more, you know, just sort of 2 or 3 in each one, but I say they are just sort of another tiny little bit there, but yeah.
So they're scattered everywhere.
They are, yeah, there's loads, isn't there, but again, they're not very big, but
Loads of holes there.
like I say, a couple on each, couple on the hook, and sort of,
Exactly what we want.
yeah, they're not big, are they, but there you go, look, just that's the first one, look, and we've got like a little bit, you know, they're only small, very small, probably not really worth taking them ones, but sometimes you can get a bit bigger, can't you, and
Yeah.
yeah, so well, that's what we've sort of come across today really, a lot of that, and we have got some bigger ones that we've obviously shown you just now, but yeah.
If you don't get your worm within the first dig down, always go for a second one because they might just be under the surface, and you might often get 2 worms in one hole, so just have a little scat around.
That's what we're looking for. Just remember, if you're digging lugworm up near the top of the beach, to make sure you just fill in the holes, because obviously you get a lot of little kiddies come along and they'll play around, especially sort of more in the spring and summer months. Just make sure you backfill the holes again. You don't want them sort of falling into the holes, and we'll go back after we've done this and we'll just sort of rake it back in. But I mean, it's sort of still at the tail end of winter at the moment, so there won't be many people up here at the moment, but it's always best just to be cautious of other people, really. Just fill them in.
Now, so as you're digging, make sure you move the spoil about, give it a good rake about, and if you're taking a break, which I do quite frequently, more than me, just make sure you look over. You might see a worm wriggling, which will give you that bonus one. So we're just going to rake back in the holes. You don't have to be precise with it, just flick them back in, so nobody's going to trip over them. Don't take 2 seconds, so why not do it?
Also, you might find another one.
True that, yeah.
Maybe.
So this is how many we've dug. We haven't gone mental because you see that?
Yeah, I'll just grab a few out, shall I?
Yeah, just grab a. We haven't gone mental because we only want to have a few for our fishing trip tomorrow.
I mean, they're not massive, but you know, I mean, some of them were quite a fair size, weren't they? But
you can always put 2 or 3 on a hook.
yeah, that's what we always do.
Always
don't we?
double up.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we always normally put worms in with squid anyway, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, there's probably, what do you reckon, 30, 35 worms in there?
I mean, we've only been digging really, what,
Yeah.
half an hour?
Yeah, if that, yeah.
So
Hasn't been long, so but that's enough for us for tomorrow. We've got some squid as well, haven't we?
definitely, yeah. So
And whilst the weather's nice, we thought we'd come up here, dig a few worms, and we'll get out on the little boat tomorrow. And yeah, we'll have some fun.
definitely.
Well, we've just come back from digging the loveworm. We're just going to show you how to store them. We keep ours in the fridge in these containers, and these are the sort of typical sort of Chinese takeaway containers. So don't throw them away, keep them. They're ideal. You can get a fair few worms in one of them boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash the sand off of them, and then just individually try and get as much of the dirt off of them as I can. Put them into these little tubs. Any broken ones as well, what we've tended to do before, if the fork's gone through the side of them or anything, I mean, we'd still use them, don't we? If it's you know, if it's sort of we're going to go fishing the next day, we'll keep them. You know, there's no worries with them. We'll keep them, but we'll put them in like a separate box. Try and keep the whole ones that aren't broken, keep them separate, and they'll last a lot longer. If you get a broken worm in, you know, you'll find that they'll sort of spoil and they'll go off. They'll die. They'll basically die a lot quicker than. So I mean, you know, just fill up your container. Don't put too many in there. I'd say just sort of layer them in the bottom. You don't want to overcrowd them. So, for example, we'll just sort of a few more, I suppose, in there. We've got some nice size ones here, Dylan.
They look right.
Yeah, they're alright, not too bad. Some of them are a bit small, aren't they? But and then what we do is we just pour a bit of the water, salt water that we've got as well, just cover them, and you'll end up with just a little tray of worm like that. And then basically we'll pop the lid on, and we'll pop them in the fridge. And then what we'll do is, obviously we're going to use these tomorrow, so we're not really too worried. We'll probably end up putting them in newspaper anyway, won't we? But how long have we kept them for before?
For about a week.
Yeah, I was going to say about a week.
Obviously, you've got to keep changing your seawater.
Keep changing the water, yeah. I mean, normally we'd take another little container down to the beach, fill it up with salt water, keep that in the fridge as well. Try and keep it at the same temperature. And then take these out, drain them, just use your hand, drain them off, and then put some fresh salt water back in again. Again, just take any out that are dead, broken up. Sometimes they tend to blow themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
you know, you'll end up with a whole tub full. I mean, we get a few more in there, but I mean, you'll end up with a whole tub full just completely ruined, you know, especially if you want to keep them for a long period of time. Again, it's just using the same temperature water like we've just said, so they don't shock them, you know. So if you're keeping the worms in the fridge, keep the water in the fridge as well, and they'll be pretty much perfect. We've never sort of lost lugworm like that, have we? So
No.
So I'm going to pop them in the fridge, and I'll finish off putting them in there as well, putting them in another container, and yeah, that's the lugworm bit done.
Right, so a little update from the boathouse. We've got these Booms Fishing, they're called, rod rests. All of our other rods are in the van, they're obviously packed for our fishing trip tomorrow. We've got our pike rods here, and they wouldn't quite fit because the ceiling's a little bit too low, so I've done them that way, so they're good to go. I've got my shark rod, my trusty shark rod that I'm hoping to catch a shark on one day. Doubt that very much. We've got over here a diesel heater, which is actually a viewer recommendation. It runs on a little 12-volt battery. We've put crocodile clips on it because it makes it easy to turn on and off. That turns itself on there. And that'll just heat itself up slowly. It runs on a diesel tank, that side, and that gets hot, doesn't it?
Filled in there, yeah. Just fill your diesel into there.
And we've got the exhaust sticking out there.
Yep, I'll
This side.
just pan around that side and show you. Yep, just going through the shed there. So, but there's a little gauge there that shows you the diesel. We've put a little mark there actually, just so you can see where we had it. We've had it on about 3 or 4 times, haven't we, since then? And we've had it quite enough to get hot.
And it doesn't use a lot of fuel.
It doesn't, does it?
Right, that's that. We've bought this shelf. This is a heavy duty one. I think it's 90 kilos per shelf, this one, so it's decent. We've got these boxes as well that we've got our rope and our long line accessories in there. With our pike rods. We've got our lead weight shelf, which we haven't got too many lead weights in stock at the minute, but planning on making some more in the future. These are just some plywood shelves that we fitted. You've seen all this before, and obviously the table. Our rack, which was in here before, but we've added all of our oils and bits and pieces. A radio, of course, you always need a radio.
Always need a radio.
These shackles, everything's hanging up there. I mean, we've pretty made this our home now, haven't we?
We have, yeah. It's quite good now, isn't it? So
and we've figured out that annoying light problem.
We have. They might be a bit bright on camera, but
yeah, we've gone with these panels, which I wouldn't turn back now. These are absolutely brilliant, aren't they?
They really are good, yeah.
So we've gone for them there.
We've got away from that flickering as well, haven't we?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they don't flicker on camera, which is brilliant. So that's it from us, from Real Therapy Fishing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and happy fishing.
See you soon.